bodies need a change, a tightening. Because I have a good life, because the scales are tipped too far toward my own contentment, I ask my man to put his hands around my withered foot and squeeze. I'm familiar with the consequences of happiness. When we become too easy in our lives, God doesn't waste his time making an example of us. Better that I take my beating from a hand I love. When beauty and pleasure cling to my static legs, when fortune's grotesque and comely filaments cloud my hair, I know to ask for pain. Without the wick of wire, I fear God on earth, his deep hands churning through the most tender porches of my body, the shadows he commands my fine rails cast. I'll take my punishment from my man, or this bed becomes my unlacquered black ocean, my bottomless potato field, my factory floor where unseen hands hold me down, my church where I can't even say yes. Hit me. There's only so much goodness one body can hold.
Yeah.
So, I've been on the road for the last few days living in LA, and I'm a little discombobulated. I hardly know where I am, and I'm having this very, very strange experience tonight where I feel like I'm in New York City. And I haven't lived in New York for years, but maybe it's because y'all are so good looking. I'm going to read some New York poems. So, this is called Remembering Our Last Meal in New York. I eat chirashi sushi, peel the raw fish from their sweet bed of seasoned rice. I know right now the beaten mares on 59 stomp slowly at the snowy curb, take great pitchers of air into their distended lungs, and bloom from between yellowed teeth white peonies against the trees of Central Park. I have tried to forget about your light, the way it breaks me open even now and makes me speak, how it glitters in the gutters up and down 8th Avenue, swirling in pools of snowmelt. So many sparkling tea leaves, I still read for signs of you. So when I lived in New York, it was, I moved there a year after September 11th, and I thought I understood that I was moving to a city that was in mourning. What I didn't understand was that it was a city that was still afraid. Are any of you New Yorkers lived in New York? Yeah, part-time New Yorkers like me. So I was there for the blackout, and that's when I realized that it was a city that was living under a cloud of fear. This is called Santeria for the City, Blackout Summer 2003. This is what you must do first. Peel the dragon fruit skin from its flesh. Separate pink from pink. This last day is ritual you've learned, how to say goodbye more completely, how to banish what is loved. The refrigerator must be emptied, and every pancetta, risotto, persimmon that you bought in Little Italy, Chinatown, Union Square, once wrapped in sodden paper and pressed into your hand, must be devoured, finished. The core of rind laid on the sill for pigeons and rats, the headless that arrive and depart the city's limits each day, shadows on the wall of a tunnel filled with hurtling and plundered light. As the body is a home, as the city is a body, as circuitry runs the lengths of my arms, these streets, we are a flash and a fuse box, a blown kiss into blackness, the perfect thrill of your last departure orbiting its small plane inside you. Maybe I should read a poem about a bar. I was gonna read a poem about death, but I'm gonna read a poem where there's some beer. Alright, where's that poem? I call Montana my home these days. I'm living in San Francisco, but Montana's still my home. And this is poem is from my favorite bar in Missoula, Montana. It's called the Reno. You never take me to the bar next to the trailer park. So I don't know if the men stand in circles at the pockmarked counter, or if the women have their hair done in curls. I like to imagine that I could be one of them, that you could be the man brushing fine shuffleboard sand from his fingertips, a hidden birthmark like buckshot on your belly. The mirror in the bathroom might be cracked or scrawled with a Merle Haggard lyric, "Ain't no woman gonna change the way I think." But from here, all I can see is neon, going on and off in the rain. The puddles in the parking lot, splashing back the blinking marquee, food, beer, jukebox. A place to lift a cold glass to my lips and disappear the last of the gold down my throat. Just beyond our trailer, the sound of trains hitching and unhitching is thunder entering my ribs, and I want it. So I'm just going to read one more poem for you guys. And like I said, I've been doing a lot of readings from this book lately, and I feel like I'm getting a little too comfortable with it. And I hate being comfortable, so I want to scare myself a little bit and read a poem I've never read for an audience before. This is for a dear friend of mine here in San Francisco. It's called Some Advice for Both of Us. Just once, let the glossy body lie in its own tangled grasses. Admit the doors, uncoupled from their latches to allow us through, were ones we shouldered open. This is not the way, forcing fruit to sugar in our hands. When our mothers told us to love, they meant that we should wear warm socks to bed. Look at their heads. If the garden is not a garden, and if its tiny lamps illuminate only their own darknesses, we must hold ourselves inside forever. This is what oceans are for. This is why 2 a.m. Because now that touch is less